This week, the sun within us, consciousness life, activates the 33rd I Ching. The transformational path of this frequency moves us from the shadow of forgetting to the highest vibration of revelation, and it's through the path of sacred ritual. In our genetic code, there are 3 markers that act like punctuation marks in the vast biological text that is our DNA. And if we didn't have these markers, which are known as stop codons, terminators, then it would be virtually impossible for us to read the code, the language. And the I Ching is a wonderful mirror, a poetry of DNA, because they're the holographic story that tells the tale of evolution hidden in the 64 secret archetypes. And coming to a stop codon, the 33rd I Ching is one of the 3. It's a bit like coming to a clearing after wandering for months in the dense forest. It's a bit like coming up for air. And in the clearing, there are always clues hidden in certain places about how to find your journey out of the forest. And the 33rd I Ching is all about paying attention. And that is the dilemma of the 33rd shadow of forgetting. We forget to pay attention. We miss the vital clues, the pauses, the clearings, the opportunities. We don't learn from life. This shadow of forgetting actually unites all human beings as one. We are all in this forest, but we're all in different trajectories. And sometimes in one of these clearings, we meet another lost soul. And suddenly before us, there's an opportunity to grow, to change direction, and or to connect. The 3 stop codons form a group called the codon ring of trials. And life is made up of trials. These are the trials, the lessons, the initiations of life. There are trials in our relationships, like learning to forgive. There are trials in our daily life, like balancing enjoyment with responsibility, or the trials in our health, like learning to care for our body correctly. And everything really is a hidden trial. But the trials don't have to be overwhelming. They're only overwhelming when we're not paying attention to them. In other words, when we blunder along in the clearing without a pause to see where we are, or to stop to have an exchange with an animal, a sunrise, or a stranger, then life ends up seeming intolerable, so hard. So the 33rd I Ching teaches us something incredible. It teaches us that life is a myth, and your myth is rich with characters, twists, and fate. And there are those who represent evil, those who represent good, and those who turn from good to evil, or from evil to good. There are backdrops that change, new characters that enter, characters that leave or die. The whole tapestry is just so colorful and exquisite if you're paying attention. That is the key. The original name of this hexagram, this frequency in the I Ching, is retreat. It's all about withdrawal. It's about pausing on our journey. We have to stop every now and again to have a cup of tea or coffee. If we don't let our awareness come to a rest, how can we truly see what is happening around us? How will we learn what is being offered to us? In today's modern world, we've become a rush of forgetting. We get obsessed with movement, with action, with doing, getting things done, with the evolutionary change. We've become immersed in the plot, in the dramas of life. We end up seeing nothing. We're so absorbed in the screen at what is rushing towards us that we don't engage with what is passing us. The 33rd I Ching is an expert at drawing in nourishment, wisdom from the past, from mistakes, from history. It's a master of reflection, introspection, and retreat. These days, we rarely pause to reflect or contemplate where we have just come from. In the Chinese culture, there's a wonderful term, Qigong, which means to reflect sweetly on a past event. And time is given to this custom, this wisdom, this ancient tea-drinking tradition. Because to reflect on the past, it requires time put aside, attention and focus. And if we don't give ourselves these moments each day, life will just be exhausting. It will be a life with no harvest, no inner growth. And this is the terrible condition of the 33rd shadow. If we don't pause to reflect, we can't come into the present moment fully, and we can't gain any perspectives or wisdom. There are vast reserves of natural wisdom in this 33rd I Ching. It's fizzling with secrets and revelations. But until we give it and ourselves time, until we prioritize the inner life, then life is really unlived and unloved. The 33rd gift, the way to alchemize the shadow and raise the vibration, sacred rituals. Let's go over the concept of Qigong more in depth. Qigong, it concerns gently bringing yourself into the moment, your awareness into the moment, simply observing your inner and outer environment without any expectation or personal judgment. It's really about being in the clearing, in the forest. Some people use the term mindfulness. I prefer sacred rituals. But let's add a whole new layer to mindfulness, to rituals that is practical. So rituals, mindfulness, doesn't have to be only about looking. It can be about creating. It can be about the active imagination. The 33rd I Ching is a lover of stories, song, and myth. That's the archetype. The 33rd gift is about sacred rituals, and rituals automatically bring presence and mindfulness. And when I say rituals here, I don't necessarily mean ceremony. I'm talking about making the mundane, the daily activities of life magical. So for example, drinking tea can be a ritual. Eating can be a ritual. Caring for the body and creativity can be a ritual when done with imagination. So this gift can turn the whole of life into a blaze of presence and peacefulness. Retreat doesn't have to be something we do after we've been in action. The retreat can actually be in the action itself. That is a gift from heaven. But let's add another twist. We can bring in the past, the future we know, because we're always worrying about it, planning it, or rushing towards it. The past, we generally have less time for. This gift is about turning around and looking out the rear window. And Qigong involves seeing the past as it is, seeing the lessons, the hours we were in forgetting mode, and then seeing the moments we were aware and present, and bringing in those sweet moments back into life. So I invite you to bring this into your practice, or bring it into an open dialogue with someone else. Think about the magical moments, the transcended moments you experienced. Think about what was best about yesterday and bring it back into your memory and bring it into your body, into your cells, and let your DNA be flooded with serenity and the sweetness of such memories. And you don't need to focus on the difficult memories. You can let them go into the stream of the past and let the ocean of life consume them. Forgive yourself for those moments of forgetting, but harvest the fine moments. Harvest the very best of yourself and others, and imprint those magical moments over and over again. And this is Qigong. It's to savor the sweetness of tea in your mouth, to let it wash over your whole being. So savor the past, the best moments, the magical moments. This is a wonderful and rich practice. It may shift your mindfulness, your rituals from being dry into a deep, colorful inner light. And when you do this practice with others, it's like rain from heaven. You sit in dialogue about which moments fulfilled you the most. It can be from yesterday or last year, or even from your childhood. Just let it swirl around you. And contrary to what you may assume, you're not leaving the present moment. You are consciously reflecting on the past. You're simply making a ritual. You're making a cosmic dialogue with yourself. And when you do this practice with others, it can be so precious, so sacred, and so uplifting. It reaches across the space between you, and it brings increased intimacy It softens the edges between people. It creates openings. It's all about stepping into the clearing together. You're creating a space where you agree to step out of the Maya, the illusion, out of the dramas of life. And the space can be filled with laughter or tears. And when we recall the things that were the most precious, the most sweet to us, it typically reminds us of what we have forgotten, and that can bring a release, a sweet release. So this practice can be very simple, without formalities. For millennia, friends gathered around the campfires in the clearings and made tea, coffee, or smoked something or eaten something together and shared their stories, the good times. And that is the heart of the 33rd gift. The 33rd city, the highest vibration, revelation. There's going to come a time for all of us when the trials are over. It's of course written into the script that the story must come to an end one final day. The curtains will fall, the audience will leave, and the stage will once again ring with the softness of silence. And revelation always comes as silence. It always comes as an ending. This is a cosmic stop codon after all. All challenges must come to an end, and love lives forever. Am I an idealist? Absolutely. Am I a realist? You can say, whatever that even means. We all have to move through the trials of suffering. Suffering is a tool that life uses to hone us, to refine us, to mature us, to evolve us, to make us into who one day we can be, who we're becoming. And one day we will graduate after much sorrow, after much seeking, after many trials and tribulations. Revelation is light. It always comes through the silence and light. And the light of revelation is within you right now, as a seed growing quietly inside. It exists on a higher dimension of your being, the causal plane, your causal body. It is part of your being that outlives death. And that part of you that still doesn't remember your eternal nature must come to an end. It must awaken fully, so there's no longer any doubt, not even a shred of doubt. And you will face some final tests to ensure you are remembering your true nature. We cannot die. The truth of this statement will one day change and reshape the world. The great masters and teachers come intermittently and remind us of this truth. Our karma follows us everywhere, so savor the magical moments and let the challenging memories fade into the river of the past. Cultivate beauty and love and tend to that beautiful garden that becomes the rich oasis of your light for others. You see, we are here to purify our karma, our collective karma, and our suffering is sweet nectar because it allows us to do that. And sometimes when life brings us a difficulty, it's actually a great opportunity. So bow to it graciously and let it clean you out. Illness could be a great gift if you could see it that way. This 33rd I Ching loves to reflect on the past. It remembers the beginning of the journey. It remembers the golden age, when we were merged with the creatures and the beauties of nature in earlier forms, simpler forms, before measurable history. We lived in simple splendor, and our hearts were one in that wilderness. And these memories linger in our DNA. Revelation triggers these cellular memories, and revelation therefore connects us not only to the past, but also to the future, but only through the present moment. Because you can't remember the past without remembering the future. Because the beginning and the end curl around each other. This is the deep revelation of eternity. So one day comes an incarnation in which we awaken. The leaves of your lives begin to fall. The light turns inwards to prepare for its journey into the void, into the emptiness from which all things are born and reborn. And all around you is the beauty of letting go, The colors intensify, your heart opens and opens, and you're in awe of the beauty all around you. And slowly and gently, you allow death to cradle you in her infinite compassion. This is revelation. All the 64 cities signal this death and the following resurrection. They invite the ultimate sacrifice. As we bow and entrust our spirit to the divine, we become the one and take a seat at the council fire with the elders, our spirit finally able to retreat and rest in the oneness of all things. I empower you this week to create space, get to higher awareness, notice your thoughts, feel all the sensations fully that come up in the body. Shine the light of awareness to your own inner voyage in order to access the deep wisdom and secrets hidden within your being. Invite in the silence. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, love yourself and choose to be blessed.